Oh yeah, I am so stoked to get this little project. This poor thing has been neglected for over a decade. And I'm going to try to bring this puppy back to life. This was my dad's guitar. And yeah, he gave it to my Uncle Mike. And we stayed the weekend over my Uncle Mike's house when I saw this poor guitar sitting in a corner. I actually tuned tuned the 4 strings that were on it, but I asked my dad if I could take it and see what I can do with it, and he wasn't happy with the neck because he said it was too hard to play. He had to really crush the strings to get this thing to play. So it just got neglected. And it's not a bad guitar. This is a Martin. It's Martin's Sigma line, which is, if you've ever looked at a Martin, they're pretty fucking expensive. But all right. This is my project for the next week or so. Stripping this thing down of everything and making it playable again. Now, I am not planning on this thing being perfect, but I will be able to do a lot better than this. I am betting this thing is going to sound amazing. I believe it's over 27 years old, so the seasoning of the wood the tone quality should be phenomenal when I'm done with this thing. That's what I'm hoping for. So I am cleaning this bad boy now, and yeah, it's really filthy. Just years of it's just all oils, skin, oils, gross stuff, nastiness. And after I got the first layer of crud off, I realized there's paint splatters all over this thing. So what I am going to try to get this off with as little scratching as possible is soft scrub. So I use an old sponge and I coat it with some Pledge, and let's see if it works. So I'll come back to the video and show you. Okay, so we're back. My concern right now are these screw holes, because that is not the size screw that goes in there. Much smaller, and then someone forced a larger screw into that hole to try to get the tuner to stay. But we're gonna fix that old trick with some toothpicks and a little super glue, and we'll fill these holes right back up with some real wood. So that solves that problem. Hey, there's another quick tip I want to just share with you guys. If you have these sealed tuners, these actually cleaned up really nice. I was able to salvage them. I boiled them in a solution first because they were really heavily coated with a lot of dirt from neglect. but it's still not the easiest to turn. And you don't have to truck them. I'll show you how to take these apart. It's quite simple. Just get yourself either an X-Acto knife, or for me, I'm using a very fine flathead screwdriver, and just carefully, you just want to do it gingerly so that this doesn't bend, because this metal on top is very thin and will bend out of shape quite easily. But if you're patient, you can get to the guts. And the issue is, as you can see, all that buildup in here. And either you can use a toothpick to go through it to get all that. You can see all that. It's on the end. I should be able to clear that up very easily using that and some WD-40. See you in the next. This is what this thing looked like before. Whew, dirty, dirty. And this is what they look like after I'm done with them. Nice and sparkly clean. Hey, just a quick tip on these tuners again. If you've cleaned it and you have fresh grease on it and it's still giving you a hard time, it is not this screw, which a lot of people think. They think by loosening the gear screw that this will turn easily, but it doesn't. This just attaches that to the peg. It has nothing to do with movement. What your problem is, most likely, is the clasp. So you can see how this one's kicked out just a little bit. And by using a pair of needle nose, just grab onto the end and just add some pressure. Look at that. Easy peasy. Hey, you crazy kids. Here's another pro tip for you guys. These chrome trim pieces are usually just held in by the wood. They should be difficult to press in and hold that way, because there's no nut to attach them to these. So when you have these old guitars, this one's in late 80s Sigma, and these just drop in, you do not want to leave it that way. They will vibrate out when playing and rattle when you play the guitar with any sort of significant force. So use anything like a paper towel, a little piece of paper towel. That's all you gotta do. Just insert it into the hole. Get a little bit in there, just enough to apply some decent pressure without doing damage. And shove it in there, and then just tear out the excess. Voila, problem solved. Okay, this is the final and probably the most pain in the ass repair on this guitar. Who knows? But either way, these divots in the fretboard are tremendous. And this will make playing the guitar a pain in the ass. So what I'm going to try is, I got some of this DAP plastic wood filler, which is walnut. Hopefully it'll be a nice match for this. And before you apply this stuff, what you want to do is take a razor knife and just carve out some deep grooves inside the divots. And what that'll allow to do is the wood filler to grab on and bite onto the existing wood, and for better adhesion. But yeah, and I'll let you know how it comes out. Woo! All right, I forgot what phase this is. Phase 5, 6, 7, who gives a shit? Anyway, I just wanted to point this out. This is a pretty cool trick. If you have really severe fret wear and the wood filler is just not doing it as far as staying in place and hardness, because this area is going to see a lot of playing and vibration and rubbing from strings. So this is what I used to fill the initial depth. And then what you see right there is regular good old super glue. And you want the really thin kind, like water when it comes out of the tube. and you just layer it on top of your repair. And then when that is dry, that will sand that down as well. But it is looking a lot better than what I started out with. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, so coming back to my final step in this bridge repair. The super glue worked phenomenal. It was a bit of a pain to sand, but this made it easier. This is a nice soft sanding block, 220 grit. But even that took a while to take the super glue down. So I broke out my handy Craftsman sander, and this thing worked better than I could have imagined. But when you're using one of these, you definitely want to go ultra light, not even the weight of this machine on the fretboard, so you don't scallop the bridge. And I scalloped the fretboard, but look at that. Came out fantastic. This will be much more playable, and the super glue will be a super hard surface to play on. Once the string's drawn, I mean, you can see that I let go because it's really not that bad as far as the divots, but that's like the lighter of the divots. These were way deeper, and they came out fantastic. So that should be a much more playable surface. And to give it a final touch, I bought one of these at Ollie's, like $5. $5. These are all for furniture touch-up and filler sticks. So as the last finish before I polished it, I used the filler sticks. But yeah, so that's that. And these came in today. Yes, indeed. Real bone. So these will be fantastic. Well, let's get this thing back together. See ya. I decided on doing the last fret on the fretboard. We're getting down to the final stages of this rebuild before I string it up and see how it sounds. The saddle for the bridge, I had to mill a lot off of this. I had wished that I could find one made for Sigma guitars, but yeah, that was not happening. So I bought a bone blank, which was, I had to mill about a solid 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little bit more off of the bottom of that. This is much wider. But, and I had to take it down along the side as well because it would not fit in the slot. It's definitely a bit of a pain in the ass. But again, I can't really complain because it's a solid bone nut and a saddle and nut set with the pins that we got for this bad bitch. Look at that. Got a little bit of mother of pearl in there. These are also solid bone. 12 bucks, Amazon. Ready. Wow. Gorgeous. Look at that wood. This thing sings. tone of this thing is insane. I knew that it would be with that much age on it. Brought back to life. Woo!